and less. Schumacher, another fastest lap of the race on the lap before. And on this lap, oh, we got to wait for the computer to tell us, but I wouldn't be surprised. Another fastest lap, 1:18.4, and the gap now 2.5 seconds between this man, Michael Schumacher, with 2 Grand Prix victories to his credit, and the man that's been 3 times world champion and 41 victories, Ayrton Senna.
Well, Benetton have been playing the tyre game very close to the chest throughout the weekend. They've been trying to save tyres as much as possible. The car out of these slow corners throughout the weekend has been the most impressive indeed. They seem to have traction where everybody else is claiming they have no traction at all. And now we have seen visually, and there, one of the 2, the Roos Ford, being towed off the circuit or onto the grass. And this is the 3rd retirement. As we see, yes, Pedro and Gasho and one of the 2 LaRousses have made contact somewhere. In the meantime, Senna up across the line, ending his 8th lap. And is that gap any smaller?
Senna going into the S's, a steep downhill section. And Michael Schumacher's lap 8. Was it quicker than Senna? Well, 0.2 of a second, a 19.2 and a 19.0. So the gap, 2.4 seconds. Then it's Jean Alesi and Damon Hill. Mika Häkkinen, Heinz Harald Frentzen and Carl Wendlinger. That is a top 7 at the end of lap 8 with Jos Verstappen in 8 and Rubens Barrichello in 9th position. Another retirement we saw a couple of minutes ago during our commercial break. Driving into the pit very slowly was Gerhard Berger. He is out of this year's Brazilian Grand Prix with an engine that wasn't running on 12 cylinders.
Well, there looked to be a little bit of oil and smoke from the back of Berger's car, but certainly he was electric in those opening laps, and it does make me very suspicious indeed that that car may have had an extremely low amount of fuel on board. But we're now approaching the point where I suspect that Williams, Benetton particularly, have done something tricky in regards to their strategy. We're going to soon find out. This is the end of the 9th lap, and I would imagine that within the next 3, if either are prepared to take the early pit stop, it's going to come then.
Alesi crossing the line, and Senna just edging away a little bit, 1/10 of a second from Michael Schumacher. And Jean Alesi here in a very lonely 3rd place. He's some 12 seconds behind Michael Schumacher, and he's, as we can see, quite a long way ahead, some 4 seconds ahead of Damon Hill, who's now beginning to speed up a little, now maybe trying to finding his rhythm.
Well, he's got Mika Häkkinen behind him, and that gap at 1.3 seconds. So Damon, whatever his reasons, whatever the problems he's having this afternoon, appear to just be a continuation of the pain he's had to go through all weekend.
Well, Senna completing another lap. It's hello and welcome to Roland Ratzenberger, walking into our commentary booth. Roland, who would have liked to be out there, of course, doing his lap, as his teammate David Brabham. But I think, Roland, you're very happy to be in Formula One anyway.
I'm very happy, but I'm quite disappointed that I'm not in the race today. But we had a lot of bad luck over the qualifying days, and especially yesterday. I mean, nothing went our way, so we just missed the cut, really.
Simtek, a very small team. Where do you think they'll end up sort of once the season gets underway?
No, I mean, the team is doing a very good job. I mean, with the financial possibilities we have and with the time available, they did a fantastic job to come here and to prepare the cars the way they prepared them. And yesterday, really on my car, we just had a small problem on a rear damper, and by the time we fixed it, the rain came out, and so that was really our problem qualifying yesterday. So, but the team it's a lot of good guys in there. Basically, everybody is very good, and they're doing a fantastic job, and I'm sure we're gonna go a long way during the season.
Well, just looking at the screen, the gap between Senna and Schumacher down to 1.8 seconds at the end of the 10th lap. This is the 11th lap they're coming up to complete. But Roland, you've spent a number of years in Formula 3000 in Japan in sports cars. You're driving in Grand Prix racing these days, and slightly different type of car, and the braking, I gather, sort of kind of caught your attention.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest single difference between anything I've driven before is just the braking power these cars have. I mean, with the carbon brakes combined with the very low weight of the Formula 1 and the downforce, you can just brake so late. It's quite incredible. And it's a certain technique you have to learn, and I'm getting there lap by lap. I'm improving, so... But it's something every new driver has to go through in Formula 1.
John Alesi in third position. A wonderful qualifying lap. I mean, he even surprised the team. And John, the gap between Senna and Schumacher, the lap before it was 1.8 seconds. Now it's up to 2.3, nearly 2.4 seconds again. I've got a feeling Ayrton's got it under control.
Looks very much the case. He just suddenly went half a second a lap faster than he had done previously. Schumacher's lap time had been approximately the same. Senna just opened that extra gap back up again, and it really looks as if he's very comfortable indeed. And he's almost playing with Schumacher, though for me the gap between them anywhere less than 5 or 8 seconds is far too close to allow yourself to play with somebody who is as dangerous a competitor as Michael Schumacher, or for that matter, the Benetton Ford, which currently is very fast.
The gap, well, virtually unchanged, identical lap times there, and this could, well, the way it's going, this could well be a race decided by pit stops and strategy.
Well, we're on lap 13, so we have to wait and see whether my prophecies of early pit stops is going to be an accurate one, or I've totally misjudged it. But we're certainly in that area where those opportunities are available.
Heinz-Harald Frentzen making his debut. We know he's going to go for one stop. Frentzen out-qualifying Carl Wendlinger and currently running just in front of the Austrian. Well, there's 3 Austrians who could qualify for a Grand Prix. That's more than there's been for a very long time.
It's almost as many as Irishmen, isn't it, Allard?
Senna at the end of lap 13. A lap he completed in 1:18.964. And there's David Brabham letting Ayrton Senna pass, looking in his mirror, very good. And the gap is 2.1 seconds now. Well, we'll see position 7 to 12 on our screen. And Martin Brundle, who had a, well, difficult weekend, John, slowly making his way up.
Well, I think Martin really wants to see this Grand Prix as a result in terms of getting to the end. And that's obviously the case for both the McLaren Peugeots. But starting so far back, and he wasn't able to emulate the electric start that we saw from Gerhard Berger. So Martin, more prudent in 12th place, just under a second behind Eddie Irvine in his Sassel Jordan.
And that's the end of Mika Häkkinen's race. The car being pushed back into the garage. Well, he might come out later, but it's definitely, well, let's say definitely no points for Häkkinen, John. It looks very much like a retirement. Ayrton Senna. And it looked like the gap was increasing a little to Michael Schumacher again, who is still in second place, ahead of Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Carl Wendlinger in 6th position. We're back here on Eurosport after the break. Martin Brundle is coming into the pits, and this looks very much like a regular pit stop. We see the fuel being put in, new tires on the car. The stop is finished, and Martin on his way again. Lap 15.
Yes, and he is the first of the early stoppers. those that are going to make a two-stop race, we'd expect to see coming in somewhere around lap 22 to 25. And Michael Schumacher just squeaking through one of the two Lotuses. The gap 1.3 in fact just flashed up, 1.376 seconds. And on that lap, Michael Schumacher was 0.8 of a second faster than Ayrton Senna.
Here, tyres being taken out of their tyre warmers for Jean Alesi. That are the Ferrari mechanics with their yellow and black overalls in the pits. And what has one thing done? Well, there is a car stopped, and that is one of the two Frentzen. That is Heinz-Harald Frentzen, stopped out on the circuit with his Sauber, and that's the end of his race.
Well, a very disappointing end to a very fine debut as a Grand Prix driver. Frentzen certainly made an impact on everybody here this weekend, not least of all on his teammate Carl Wendlinger. But a very, very encouraging start in '94 for the Mercedes-Benz Ilmor V10.
John, there's Carl Wendlinger, the other Sauber Mercedes, and while Michael Schumacher is getting closer to Ayrton Senna, Wendlinger has got Jos Verstappen crawling all over him, and Verstappen is currently in 6th place on his debut.
Fine effort. But this is now getting to the interesting stage. Senna has, for some reason, lost up to almost a second in the last few laps. Michael Schumacher pushing only to the limit as he knows how. And of course, we have Martin Brundle ahead. You see the red and white McLaren Peugeot, but he is on fresh tyres, and there, I think, is the reason why Heinz-Harald Frentzen is out of the race. Locked it up, spun off, engine stalled.
So, Michael Schumacher behind Ayrton Senna, and there's Carl Wendlinger in the pits. So maybe Sauber does go for a two-stop race.
Well, either doing that or they put over 100 litres of fuel in that pit stop, but judging the time it took for the car for wheel change and the amount of fuel going in, I can assure you now that Carl Wendlinger will make more than one pit stop at this Grand Prix.
Michael Schumacher still behind Ayrton Senna. The top 6, Senna, Schumacher, Alesi, Hill, Verstappen and Barrichello. 7th, Katayama. 8th, Carl Wendlinger. 9th, Eddie Irvine. And in 10th position, Mark Blundell. So that's 2 Yamaha engines in the top 10 after 18 laps out of 71. So Senna edging closer to Martin Brundle, who of course is on new tires and is the only remaining McLaren Peugeot in the race. And here is Jean Alesi, his first stop on lap 19.
And mechanics diving into those radiator boxes, and 9.1 seconds, Alesi is out.
Yes. More people coming in and out of pits. Also, I can hear someone downstairs.
Well, Carl Wendlinger.
Oh, it's Verstappen is in the pits, John.
Okay, yep. But crucial moment now for Senna and Schumacher as we look at Eddie Irvine and his Sassel Jordan in for his first fuel and tyre stop. Oh, and Lilland. Well, Senna sneaks underneath Brundle just at the end of the pit straight. Schumacher momentarily held up, and Senna used traffic absolutely brilliantly, because it's not just a question of getting past, it's doing it in a place where you get the advantage and your competitor is at a disadvantage.
So Verstappen's been in, John, and out again. He stalled the engine. Well, it's the first time he made a pit stop.
He's not meant to stall the engine, though.
Exactly. So Senna leads Michael Schumacher by 0.8 of a second. And this is the gap. You're riding with the German, you're looking at the Brazilian.
Well, that camera shot gives you some idea of the amount of vibration that a driver has to contend with through the wheel. And as we said the other day, that doesn't tell you what it's like actually in the car.
We see it from outside, and the gap is getting smaller and smaller, but that Benetton is right on the edge. Michael Schumacher sliding that car around the circuit. Now, which one of those two is going to make a pit stop first, and which team is going to get the driver out faster?
Well, I don't know if anybody anticipated a battle for the lead. When Ayrton Senna moved into the Williams-Renault team, everybody said this is a foregone conclusion. The championship's his, give it to him now. Well, certainly no one told the Benetton Ford team or Michael Schumacher. And this is going to be, I feel, the battle we're going to